Yay! Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. I am Delisa Hawking. I'm a fifth generation psychic medium, and I am going to be walking you through the new moon in Taurus free class today. So let me get our beautiful, making sure everything is working on the technology side since I'm doing a live stream today. So just checking to make sure it works. And since I am a Gemini rising and my chart ruler is Mercury, I have to make sure it's all working. Looks like everybody's starting to say hello. Awesome. Let me know in the Zoom chat, or excuse me, I'm on Zoom, you're on YouTube. Uh, Vic, thank you, Edward. I appreciate the sound and technology check. Perfect. You just never know, especially these days, if it's gonna work or not. Perfect. Yay, Samantha, Simona, Linda, Shannon, Edward, Deb, Robin, Teresa, AS, Vanessa, Abby, Angie, Joan, Spirit Vision. Hello, hello. Oh, beautiful. Oh, Dawn, thanks so much for supporting the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. I have the chat up now. I know everybody's probably refreshing their screens and coming on. Mark, Vanessa, hello, hello, Sheila. My background is blurred because I am in the middle of moving, and I figured you don't want to see my top ramen noodles or my Velveeta and cheese back here, um, or the numerous boxes that are all over the place. So yeah, drop in the chat. The live chat is going for this class today. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Katie, Monica, Jordan, Samantha, Kathy, Rhonda. Have so much fun. And the good news about it is you don't have to know a dang thing about astrology in order to enjoy today's class. There is something in it for everybody. I would recommend having pen and paper, and hopefully you got the instructions on how to pull up your astrology chart. Whole sign is my recommendation for what we're about to do. But if you know astrology and you've been working with your chart for a while, you can use any system you want. Okay. Karen, Shannon, Sandra, Kelly, Vanessa, Janelle. I'm trying to catch everybody's name. So hopefully, as you're coming on board here. Pele flows. Love it. Yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm in the Western Washington. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, but I'm getting ready to go to inland Northwest, surrounded by a lot of farmland. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, beautiful. So keep the comments going. I will have that up here and I'll keep an eye on it. I may not look at it the whole time because I'll get a little bit distracted, but I will glance over at it on occasion. So we're going to talk today about the new moon in Taurus. And I saw somebody in the chat saying that they were feeling the goodness, the abundance of this new moon. And I agree. I think there's a lot that we can say that's going right with this energy. And I'm going to pull up my slides here in a minute so you can follow along with me. But I do feel like there's this deliciousness that we can embrace with it. And I really feel that vibration of spring and that feeling that we really can plant what we want to grow and manifest. So that's why I intentionally decided to teach this class today. because I believe in the energy of the new moon. And it's not to say that everything's going to be perfect because it never is, but I do think the new moon energy that happens tomorrow. So you're here today getting all the inside dish. So you can be ready for that. But I do think that the new moon gives us a great opportunity each month. And Taurus, I really feel like we need to embrace and embody that Taurus energy right now. But we all have Taurus in our astrology chart somewhere. So um, we will see what area of your life this new moon is shining a light on. So, anyway, I love talking about astrology. And if you watch my Tuesday live streams on YouTube, you know that we talk about astrology and headlines and what the heck is going on. And so I'm sure some of you have watched the Tuesday live streams each week. So thank you for that. Um, yeah, let's just start jumping into this. Let me share my screen here. All right. You are here, April of 2025 for this Taurus new moon. Beautiful. As you've been doing already in the comments, you've been letting me know where you are from. A special welcome and thank you to all of my Sacred Signal community members. I saw a lot of your names pop up in the live chat, so thanks for being here. That's where we talk about all the juicy things that we don't say on mainstream social media. And people are sharing a lot. I've noticed like in the last 24 hours in our Discord community, a lot of like pet photos. And I love pet photos, dogs, cats, and everything else. So welcome everybody. Glad you're spending a little bit of time with me today. So why the heck am I teaching this class? So those of you that are brand new to my work, or maybe you've come across me recently, I've been doing this for a decade. I am a psychic medium as my full-time profession. And I've just noticed throughout the years with my own life and with people that I've talked to, conversations that I've had, astrology is such an incredible tool to help us navigate our life. So I just love astrology, which is why I love talking about it and teaching classes about it. I would say my astrology classes are more like the 101 level because I'm still learning astrology. I feel like even though I've been studying it for a while now, it just takes a while to get it and understand it. So I teach more from the perspective of trying to pare it down to make it easy and digestible. Because you can go down all kinds of rabbit holes with astrology. So hopefully in this class, you will find information that is great to have for your own life, but that you also find that you can follow along with it. That is my goal. Okay. I've had dark nights of the soul where I remember years ago when I was living in Texas. And if you've known me for long, you know I love to move. I have my sun, moon, and rising are all mutable signs of Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So I love moving. I was living in Texas one of the times I've lived there, and I just felt like everything was closing down around me. And I owned a dating and matchmaking company. I felt like nothing was going right. And I was talking to a friend one day and she goes, "Do you ever think that you would go and, talk with an astrologer?" I was like, "Listen, I got nothing to lose at this point. I'll go talk to an astrologer." So I got on the phone with a woman named Geraldine, and God rest her soul, she passed away a few years ago. But she, over the phone, was telling me all about what Saturn was doing in my chart and that she could see the really tough time that I was in. But the thing that she gave me was peace of mind, because she said, I can tell you when it's going to end, because it will end. So I've just had a love for astrology since that point. And so I hope to shower you with goodness. As I mentioned, you want to have your whole sign chart, preferably. There's all different kinds of ways you can dice up your chart. A lot of people do Placidus. I just happen to think that whole sign is a little bit easier to use in the beginning. And so if you were on my email list and you got the instructions, then that was like the easy step-by-step way to pull up a whole sign chart. But you can go to different websites. So there's a whole bunch of them that have a free chart, but I would just look for whole sign. Now, if you've been using Placidus, which you would kind of know Placidus by looking at it, because the pie slices, the 12 pieces of pie on your chart in Placidus, they're not equal. So one house may be very, a lot larger than another house. The whole sign, you'll notice that each of the pie slices has 30 degrees. So I tend to just stick with that when we're learning and exploring our chart a bit more. Okay, so what is a new moon? I'm going to show this to you in the next slide. I've got a picture of what a new moon looks like in the chart. But as it says here on your screen, during a new moon, we see the side of the moon that is not being illuminated by the sun, which makes the moon blend into the night sky. That's why we can't see it. So when the moon is new, it's located between the Earth and the sun. The moon is in line with the sun, and the sun and Earth are on opposite sides of the moon. Okay, let me just show you what this looks like, because our astrology chart is actually the representation, like for our own birth chart, it is literally what the sky looked like the minute you were born. And so when we pull up a chart for what tomorrow's new moon looks like, it is a actual representation up in the sky. I remember when I first started learning astrology or going to an astrologer, I was like, oh, this astrology is probably just some like mythical chart. And it's a story we're telling ourselves about different planets, but it's not really real. It's just what astrologers have assigned to it. And that's not true. This is the actual representation physically in our solar system of what is going on with these planets and where the planets are positioned in the sky. So this really is what it looks like in a simple pie wheel. Okay, so this is the chart for tomorrow, which is when we have our new moon in Taurus. A couple things I circled on here that I just want to bring to your attention. So the new moon is over here. So if you're looking at this like a clock, it's about 7 o'clock-ish. That's where you see the glyph for the moon, which looks like a moon. And then right next to it is the sun. It's the circle with the dot in the middle of it. It's at 7 degrees of Taurus. And so that's how you would read that on there. And that's what that new moon looks like in the chart. It is making some interesting, what you referred to as an aspect. And I drew this square in the middle of the chart just to give us more of a visual of what this looks like. So this new moon in Taurus is making an aspect to Pluto, which we can call about 11 o'clock on the clock here. That is Pluto. That's the glyph for Pluto. It's at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And directly across from it, this big, thick black line through the middle of the screen, that is taking us over to Mars in Leo at 4 degrees. So Mars and Pluto doing a dance in the sky in opposition, which you can see that they're opposing each other. They're on opposite sides of the astrology chart. It means that they're having a conversation. And typically in an opposition, Pluto and Aquarius is, trying to say something to Mars and Leo, and then, vice versa. So there can be a bit of an energy dialogue happening between Pluto and Mars. Pluto is the planet of death with rebirth and transformation, and it's directly across talking to Mars, the planet of action, war, aggression. And for every planet, every sign, there is a high form and a low form energetically. But when you've got death and rebirth and war and fighting across from each other, it can create a lot of tension. So I don't think any of us are surprised to hear that, because we know that a lot of the major headlines are about people fighting, countries fighting, and people against government in different parts of the world. So we have this opportunity with this new moon in Taurus to sit and ask ourselves, like, what do we want to manifest in our own life? Because we can't get rid of Pluto and Aquarius, nor do I think we want to, or we can't get rid of Mars and Leo. But instead, in the collective, in the world, in society, and in our own lives, I think we really can sit with the beautiful energy of a new moon in Taurus and ask ourselves, even when things are turbulent in the world, what is it that I want to create in my own life? Because, I work with a lot of students and clients, and we talk a lot, frankly, like sacred signals. I make predictions every week. We talk about astrology every week. And one of the things I've been really called to mention in my community, and I'll share now, is I don't want you to give up on your dreams. So even when it looks like things are falling apart, either in your city, in your state, in your country, it's not going to stay that way forever. I've talked a lot about the dismantling that's happening right now. And with the dismantling, we will be in a position where we are going to be able to create what's new. And even when things are in major upheaval, like the Tower card in tarot, that even when that's happening, there's still going to be plenty of opportunities for abundance, for activating dreams, for coming together in community with other people. So don't let what is happening outside of yourself derail what it is that you have in your heart that you want to do, which is why I decided that Moon in Taurus was when we were going to come together and talk about this, because I don't want you to give up on your dream. So this new moon is tomorrow, Sunday, April 27th, if you're here with me live. And most of you should be awake for this. It's about, noontime, lunchtime, if you're on the West Coast of the US, East Coast of the afternoon. If you're in Europe or otherwise, you're going to experience it at night. So I'm like, we're awake. Let's do this. Let's lean into this beautiful opportunity to create those bountiful seeds that we can plant. Okay. So when we think about a new moon in general, these are the words that typically come up with it, which is why I love it so much. I love new moons because, like I said, it's like planting seeds. It's rebirth. It's clarity, it's manifestation, it's dreaming. It is an energy once a month that asks us to align with possibility. So if you haven't sat with yourself recently and said, what do I want? What's the big juicy dream? Then I would say this weekend is a great time to do that. Okay. Now, if you're catching this video or watching it as a replay again down the line, just know that your new moon energy is anchored in possibility. It's a great time to get out your journal and write out your intentions. If you're thinking about starting something new, then it could be a great new beginning for you. You'd probably want to look at other things that are happening in your birth chart to get a more comprehensive picture of what's happening for you. But in general, new moons have that energy of initiation, of potential. And it can bring about revelations. So even this weekend, if you've had something on your mind and you haven't been able to figure it out, I think it's a great time to get out that pen and paper, and you can write it on your piece of paper. Why is my job not the right fit for me? And sit with it, sit with the question, get curious. Because I think that by asking the question and taking a few minutes of stillness, I think you will start to get more and more clarity about, why are you in that job? What isn't sitting right with you? What is it that your heart is trying to align you with? Okay. Because we can't see the moon up in the sky, there is that theme of darkness. Of, wow, well, while the sky is dark, why don't I close my eyes and go within and ask the big questions that I've been thinking about? So, what would the new moon and Taurus themes be? So, I'm going to go through a few of these with you. So, this is what we're specifically working with here in late April of 2025. The first theme is financial, so money and the material. Okay. So, as I mentioned a minute ago, with your journal, your pen, great time to think about your money story. What are your goals around money? Have you been thinking about leveling up your money or your income? This would be a great time to think about what those savings accounts look like, or maybe opening up a CD if you've been thinking about doing that. Taurus new moon asks us to consider our long-term security. What do we want to do with our money? Okay. Taurus is a slow, steady energy. Okay. If you think about it as the tortoise and the hare, a lot of us have heard that story. The Taurus energy is the tortoise. Now, the tortoise ends up winning, spoiler alert, in that story. So Taurus energy is asking us to slow down and think about what we're doing to build our wealth, our money, our resources in a way that is building a very, very strong foundation. Okay. This is not the energy of get rich quick stuff. This is the, well, honey, we got that postcard in the mail from the credit union about their CDs. Should we go open one? That would be a question to sit with and consider for new moon and Taurus, because a CD takes time to mature. That would be a good example of that energy. Okay. Next up for the theme is self-worth and what we value. You might have an epiphany, an aha moment this weekend where you're really recognizing your value, your worth, or maybe you realize that someone has discounted your value lately and you're starting to get some clarity around that. And I brought up the example a moment ago about having a job that you didn't align with. And maybe you just had a performance review and your boss didn't see eye to eye with you on what you were bringing to the company, to the team, to the organization. And maybe you're sitting here now going, am I in the right place? Am I supposed to be working there? Because I know my talents and my gifts. I really don't feel like I'm being appreciated. Okay, that's a new moon in Taurus energy. So this is a great time this weekend to lean into what your gifts and talents are. And as it says here on your screen, creating a life that feels rich in meaning, not just material goods. So you could even ask yourself, what would it take for me to walk through my life every day feeling good about my life? And then what is it that comes up for you when you ask that question that doesn't feel good? and ask yourself, out of those things that don't feel great, what is it that you could change or adjust in your life so that you get back to walking through your life feeling, yes, proud of yourself, proud of your life, but just feeling like you are in rhythm, that your life is in rhythm, that you feel that you are living the life that your soul wanted to come in and learn. The next theme, grounding and stability. As I said, Taurus energy is the tortoise. It's that slow moving tortoise that eventually wins the race. So grounding and stability. You could be feeling a nudge right now that you've been going a million miles an hour and your life is asking you to slow down. You could be feeling a nudge to go take a walk out in nature. Maybe you have a friend you want to go on a hike with. Those would be beautiful things you could do this weekend to be in the flow of this special energy. You could even feel like going to a yin yoga class or a breath work class or a sound bath where you just have to be present and be in the energy of that present moment. It's not the energy of, I got to do this, I got to do that. Here's my checklist. Nope. This is the energy that says, please be with me here and now. Give yourself permission to be in the present moment. What is meant for you will be for you. You do not have to chase anything. Okay. So it's also an energy that asks us to release control. It's the divine trust that everything is working out in your favor, that you don't have to hustle and grind in order to feel alive and abundant and blessed. The hustle and grind is such a harsh energy. And that is coming from someone that deals with being a workaholic. The hustle and the grind, I feel, is an old program and old energy. But when you can be with yourself in the present and allow things to unfold in your highest and best interest, things just start happening. They start coming out of the blue. You are blessed over and over again. So the misconception of having to work really, really hard in order to get somewhere is an old story. So what is the new story? The in the present moment story that you're creating right now in your life. As it says here, great for meditation, mindful eating. I also refer to it as like intuitive eating, asking your body, what do you want to eat? Because if your body is really craving something, there may be something in that food that would be good for you to eat. So just notice what your body is guiding you towards. Gardening, love that idea. Or if you've got maybe some herbs are pretty easy to grow. Perhaps it's a great time for you to start having an indoor outdoor herb garden and having your hands in that dirt and planting those seeds. That would feel really beautiful for this weekend. The next one, pleasure and sensuality. So the planet Venus is a Taurus energy. Okay. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So when we think about Venus, we think about things like going to play, going to an opera, going to a boutique and picking out a beautiful blouse. That's going to a museum and seeing a new exhibit. It's holding hands as you're walking down the street. It is making some crock pot macaroni and cheese. if you're into that kind of thing. So that is the vibe. So this new moon Taurus energy could be a great romantic night out. It could be going to an exhibit at a museum you've never been to before and actually spending time really walking through and slowly looking at that art, absorbing the energy of that art. It's a very delicious energy. This weekend, ask yourself what feels good? What fills my cup? You could feel like you want to put your fuzzy socks on and have a really fuzzy blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. And you're going to sit and watch a really juicy movie. Let me know in the comments what juicy movie you think would be good for this weekend, because I love watching new things. So either a movie or a TV show. Like, what do you think would be like a comfy, beautiful movie or TV show? So let me know in the comments. I want to take a look at that. So we all have suggestions we can add to our watch list. You know, the first thing that comes to mind for me is like one of the Bridget Jones movies. Um, Even like a foreign film. I know foreign film might be more Sagittarius vibe, but it just feels, I guess to me, since I'm a Sagittarius sun, like the idea of watching a beautiful movie and reading the subtitles, like that just feels artistic to me. So I think I would get on board with some kind of foreign film. The next theme is patience and long-term growth. So we've already talked about stability. And when you're planning your money, it's more the long-term goals with money. Taurus asks us to be patient. Seeds, when you go and you plant your seeds, it's not like they really pop up overnight. You know, it takes time for the seeds to germinate and for you to get your herbs or your fruits and your vegetables or your flowers. But it's about trusting in the process. Taurus says trust, let go and flow. Okay. So it's not about that control or harsh energy of, I have to get this done now. This is, I got some brand new herb seeds and dirt in a container. And I am looking forward to every day watering those seeds and watching them grow, and then being able to take those herbs and sprinkle them into delicious food that I'm making. That is the vibe. This is a great time for commitment and laying down roots when it comes to love, when it comes to career, when it comes to doing something for yourself. So maybe there's a class that you want to take. Maybe you want to learn astrology, or maybe you want to learn how to be a psychic or a tarot card reader, whatever it is, right? This would be great energy to get that clarity with this new moon and say, you know what? I am going to invest in myself, in my future. I am going to sign up for that bachelor's degree or that certification class. That would be really, really good times to do it. Wouldn't surprise me if there were a bunch of people that got engaged this weekend, or people that get that inner knowing, that nudge of, wow, I think I want to marry this person, or I think I want to commit to this person. So that love vibe will be in the air for sure. And career, asking yourself a question like, is the career I'm in now really serving my long-term future? Is it? Or do I know in my heart of hearts that the job I'm in just isn't where I want to be long term? And it doesn't mean that then you have to hurry up and decide what to do next. Because Taurus says, sit with it, see what unfolds. So I think it's more a time of having the aha moments, asking yourself those bigger questions and not being afraid to sit with the answers. And once you have that clarity, you can set an intention like, universe, show me the way. Universe, I know you have my back. Show me what's next. And trust in that divine timing. So setting intentions. I think having 3 to 5 is a good number. It's not overdoing it. Hey, if you're an overachiever and you're like, I need 10, cool, go do you, boo. But I would say 3 to 5, where you are writing out those intentions of what you want to create long term when it comes to your money, when it comes to your own worth, and when it comes to your physical comfort. So here are a couple. I am building a stable foundation for my financial future. I value myself and trust in my worth. I attract abundance through aligned effort. So those 3 are ones to help get you started. Because I'll tell you this, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, a lot of people. And when you really know your worth, you will find all kinds of doors open for you. When you know your worth, I feel like it takes the edge off of having to hustle and grind so much. But I think it's one of the biggest things people battle with on Earth School. This is an advanced classroom. But one of the things I see the most in my students and my clients is they don't think they can have it. They don't think they're good enough to get it, whatever the goal is. They think there are other people better than them, so why even try? They think my money has always sucked, so why try something different now? What you believe, you attract. Okay. So I would set some intentions that align with what you are going to allow yourself to manifest. Because our thoughts are frequencies. So whatever we are thinking and believing, it's one thing to say it. You got to say it and believe it. You got to believe it in your heart. Because when you say it, you believe it, you are adjusting your frequency, the frequency your body holds, and it's shifting it into a frequency that sends that frequency out to the universe. And the universe is like, oh, okay, yeah, let me send you something that matches that. Okay. So one of the things that you get out of today's class is change your mind, change your life. If that is the one thing you get out of today's class, I have done my job today. But I would push you a little bit because I think most people have some kind of negative story that they think about themselves and think about their life on a regular basis. We don't usually slow down enough and go within and audit those thoughts. So they just kind of run rampant in our program, in our subconscious system. So become more aware of what it is you are telling yourself, because whatever that story is, that's what you are saying to the universe. More of this, please. Creative values list, very Taurus. What are the top 5 things you value? Okay, examples could be peace, beauty, honesty, freedom, love, compassion. Reflect on where you're living in alignment or where you are out of alignment with those top 5 values. Set one small action step to embody each value more deeply over the next 30 days. So let's say you said, one of my top 5 values is beauty. Now, beauty doesn't have to be something bad, right? There's high form and low form of everything. So if one of your top 5 is beauty, then you could ask yourself, okay, do I feel like my life, my energy is beautiful? And if you think, well, in this area, yes, in this area, no. Okay, well, maybe one of the areas you feel that is not beautiful is your physical surrounding. So then you could ask yourself over the next 30 days, how do I want to create more beauty in my home? Doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. You can go on YouTube and look up feng shui videos and look at how to rearrange what you do have in a way that makes your space more beautiful. Maybe you want to get a live plant because a plant would be a great reflection of the Taurus energy. So get a new plant that you have inside or outside that you're watering and caring for. So think about the things you could do that don't necessarily cost anything or very little that could beautify your space more. Maybe it's picking one wall and getting a funky color and painting it, right? So maybe it's you want to sit down and sketch, or you want to, paint, and you could put that painting or sketch up in your physical space somewhere. So that would be an example of creating to-do action items off of each of the values that you find are important. Beauty just aligns so well with Taurus that I thought I would use that as an example. Grounding yourself. That was one of the earlier themes we looked at with Taurus. So I get sometimes from people, well, how do I ground myself? What does that look like? So yes, you can be outside and put your bare feet on the grass. It's a great way to do it. But you can also just take a walk outside. If you have a park or a nature path, you could go and do that. But grounding yourself can also be the food you're eating. I mentioned the crock pot macaroni and cheese. Maybe that helps you to feel grounded. Some people like grilling up a nice steak and eating that, and they feel nourished by it. So that's up to you as an individual, what you want to prepare as food. But just know your energy may be craving some foods that help you feel at peace within your own body. Using essential oils like patchouli, vetiver, or rose. Rose is actually a high frequency. So if you're going to use an oil like rose, I would say, have your feet on the floor or be in a park and be seated on the grass as you're using an oil like rose. So I usually will put a couple drops and then I'll put it on my third eye. I'll put it on the top of my head, rub my hands together and put it over my auric field. But if you're connected to the ground and you're using a high frequency, you may experience some incredible meditations or downloads or being able to channel, because I found through my psychic work that when I'm in my body and I've connected my own frequency into a higher frequency, that's the best combination to bring forward psychic information. So just be warned. And then calming music. Yeah. Maybe even creating a playlist this weekend that's all music that helps you feel like you're in the moment and grooving with making food, being in your body, feeling good, feeling beautiful. You can even call it your new moon in Taurus playlist. And how fun would it be if you're into this kind of stuff like me? Create a new moon playlist every month And after 12 months, you'll have a playlist for every new moon. And then once a month, you learn what new moon is coming and you listen to that playlist again that incorporates the energy of whatever that new moon embodies. Okay. Okay. So now I want you to look at your own astrology chart. And what I want you to look for is this glyph. Now, it's either going to be this glyph here on the screen, or it might just say Taurus, but you're going to find your Taurus house. There are 12 pie slices, and Taurus will be one of those pie slices in a whole sign chart. So I'm going to show this to you here in just a moment as an example. So as I said, it's going to be in house 1 through 12, somewhere in there. We all have Taurus. And whatever house it is, 1 through 12, that's the area of your life that is being highlighted by all of the things we've talked about so far. So this is the area of your life that's really asking to embody more of the Taurus stability, beauty, groundedness. Okay. So you can put it in the chat or in the comments what house you have Taurus in. This is an example of a chart, and I've circled it on here so you know what you're looking for. So Taurus here circled in red, the pie slice, and then you'll notice that it's in the 12th house in this example. Taurus in a chart is always going to fall between, in the whole sign chart, between Aries and Gemini. So you're going to find your Taurus house 1 through 12. It looks like we've got folks that have it in the 9th, the 11th, the 1st, 10th, the 7th. And so the number of the pie slice, the house, should be on that inner rim of the circle. Yeah, a lot of 7th house placements and 9th house, a 5th. Okay. I'm going to go through each house here in a moment so you know what it's bringing in for your consideration. All right. 12th house, just like the sample chart up on the screen. Okay. A lot of 9th house. Okay. So hopefully you've got your pie slice number 1 through 12. All right. And sometimes you might see in your own chart that in your Taurus house, you might have planets. You might not have any planets. So if you are somebody that has in your Taurus pie slice, if you have planets in there, then this may be felt more by you, this new moon energy, because the new moon energy, depending on the degree within your chart of your own planets of what was there when you were born, you may find that you have a bigger activation if the 7-degree new moon was near some of the things you have in your Taurus house. But that isn't the entire story, because there's also very sensitive angles in your chart. So I don't want to get too complicated in today's class, but let's say you had Taurus in the 1st house and it's your ascendant. So you might see AC or ACS as your ascendant. It usually looks like a line or an arrow through the 1st house somewhere. So if you had Taurus on the ascendant, let's say, or you had Taurus on the descendant, which is directly opposite that line, or if you had Taurus on your MC at the very, very top of your chart, like noon up here, it could say MC on your chart, or IC, which is directly beneath it, which usually doesn't have a line in the chart. The MC, the IC, the ascendant, the descendant, if you have Taurus at any of those sensitive angles, the new moon may be activating you even more so than how others may feel it. But again, that might not be the whole story, because if there's aspects that are happening to any of your sensitive angles or to any of your planets that have to do with Taurus or connected to Taurus, then it could activate in other ways as well too. But just as a general sense of how the energy is going to show up, we're going to look at your pie slice. So you've got your number of 1 through 12, and we're going to go through. But yeah, if you have it, it looks like in the comments. We've got a couple people that say MC, and MC, your midheaven, it's the highest part of your chart. So if you have Taurus on your MC, or your MC is in Taurus, you might find that this Taurus new moon energy just thrusts you into more of an understanding of what you are meant to be doing in this life, or something very public, or who you are in the world, because the MC is like that very public facing angle in your chart. So yeah, and if you have no planets, it doesn't mean that it's not going to do something for you, but I would just pay attention to what the general theme of the house is that you have Taurus in. Yeah. And the AC is the ascendant. That is the horizon line when you were born. So I believe the ascendant changes every 2 hours. So it's why if you even share the same birthday to somebody exactly with day, month, and year, if you were born in different cities at different times, you're going to have a different chart, and everybody has a different chart. So in this example here, the AC, which is the ascendant, it shows here at 26 degrees. It's just below like 9 p.m. So if you look at this like a clock, it's about 8 p.m. So that's the ascendant. So that's the horizon when you were born, at your exact minute of your birth. And so for this person, it's the ascendant at 26 degrees of Gemini. Yeah. But in this example, Taurus rules, is their 12th house. Yeah. Yeah. So the twin, good question. So if somebody has a twin, they will have different charts, because the minutes will differentiate the chart. The moon, like for example, the moon moves really fast in the sky, changes signs every 2.5 days. So the degrees move pretty quickly. So they may have something different with their moon. But yeah, just a couple minutes can actually shift the chart. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any other questions in here before I show you all of the meanings. Okay, let's start going through this then. And I love that earlier you were dropping movie and show ideas. I think yeah. Kim says Under the Tuscan Sun. What a great movie to watch this weekend. Eat, Pray, Love. Monsoon Wedding. I've never heard of that one before. Chocolat. A couple people are saying chocolat. Yeah. And if you know a little bit more about astrology, you can certainly look to this, and you can look to see, is there anything that's transiting up in the sky when laid over your natal chart, if there's anything talking to each other. But that's more of an advanced class. I do go through it each week in Sacred Signals. I usually take a transit that's happening up in the sky and then talk about what it means for your charts. Like a couple weeks ago, I did Neptune going into Aries, 0 degrees, and what that means for your life. I think we did Mars going into Leo. And so each week I try to just take like a chunk. That way you can start working with your own chart more and more. But let's stick with Taurus new moon. So if you're one of those people in the comments or the live chat that said that you have Taurus in the first house, which is also where your ascendant is in your chart, that is the house of self and identity. So you might feel with this Taurus new moon, this shift, this energy around reinvention of yourself. It could be that you feel this fresh new start around who you are in the world. So first house, and I've shared this before in some of my other classes. So if you're one of my regular students, thank you, and you've heard this before. Your first house is how other people usually see you. So I'll back up to our sample chart. So whatever you have in your first house, house number 1 here, that is how other people see you. So in this chart example, which happens to be my chart, if you hadn't guessed it already, I have Gemini. This is Gemini. That's the glyph for Gemini. So I have Gemini in the first house. When someone meets me, they probably wouldn't guess my sun sign, which is Sagittarius. They would probably guess I was a Gemini first. So it's how other people see you. So look at whatever the glyph is, the sign is that you have in your first house. And that's usually what people think about how they perceive you. It's how other people see you. It is also the sign you should be reading your horoscope based after. Most astrologers, unless they tell you explicitly it is a sun sign horoscope, if they don't say that to you, it means they're basing your horoscope off of your rising sign. So for me, I would want to be reading the horoscope for Gemini, not for Sagittarius, because that is how the astrologer knows where the transiting planets are falling in your houses. Because all of the signs go in the same order for everyone's chart. So if they know that I am a Gemini rising, a Gemini ascendant, then they know that transiting Mars up in the sky is activating my third house. So they're going to write a horoscope that aligns with Mars being in my third house of Leo. I know that was probably a little bit complicated for some people. Simply put, start reading your horoscope for your first house sign and see how much it shifts what's going on and how it relates to your life. Okay, so first house is self and identity. Okay, if you have Taurus in the second house, that's money and self-worth, baby. So you should be sitting with yourself asking about those long-term financial abundance money goals. Okay, and what you value around your money and your work. And if you're not feeling appreciated for your work right now, you could be feeling a nudge to reconsider what it is you're doing for work. Third house, if you have Taurus in the third, that is around communication and learning. So the example I gave earlier about signing up for that certification or for that bachelor's degree, or maybe you're thinking about learning a language. Okay. So if you have Taurus in the third house, you may be feeling a nudge to write or study, learn something new. If you have it in the fourth house, that is of home and family. That is the foundation. Fourth house is the bottom of your chart. So the example I used about creating a beautiful space, a beautiful home, that could really feel relevant for you right now. Nourishing your roots. Think about new things you want to do around your home and family life. If Taurus is in the fifth house, it's the house of creativity and romance. So maybe you're one of those people thinking about going to an art class or going to a new exhibit at an art museum. Maybe you're the one that wants to go on a romantic date and hold hands walking down the sidewalk. So yes, creative projects, flirting. How many of us have not flirted in a minute? Maybe you're like, not me, I flirt all the time. Well, good, awesome. But maybe you'll be feeling a little bit more flirty with Taurus in your fifth. Being playful, being fun, laughing. Go do something fun this weekend if you've got Taurus in the fifth house. Sixth house is health and daily routine. These are the things that you do much every day, your routines. This would be like going to work, getting in the car, commuting, your daily face washing or whatever you're doing at night to floss your teeth. That's all like sixth house stuff. So if you've got Taurus in the sixth house, I'd say it's a great time to set some goals around new routines. New things you want to do for your health. How could you nourish your body more? How could you have more work-life balance? Yeah. Um, Maybe with Taurus, it's like, ooh, you want to start like a new face mask at night because it helps you feel really beautiful and it's something nourishing for you. I can see that as part of like a sixth house thing. Seventh house, relationships and partnerships. Ooh. So if you've got Taurus in the seventh, which I know there was a bunch of people that did in the comments, new beginnings in love, business partnerships. So if you're thinking about planting seeds for a long-term relationship or any kind of relationship that's you and someone else. So it can be some kind of work partnership. So thinking about what do you want to grow with someone else? Eighth house is intimacy and transformation. Going deep. It's also your money you share with someone else. So if you've got somebody in your life that you share finances with, what's that money story? What could you do that is more long term and setting you up for more like stability when it comes to money? It could be an interesting time to go deep with someone else and talk about what you're feeling vulnerable with or what your heart wants. Or it could be if you're single, like really sitting down with yourself and going, okay, I'm ready to go deep with somebody. So, what does that mean? What does that look like for me in my life? What am I manifesting in? What am I telling myself about my own heart, about intimacy? Is my story that it's safe for me to be vulnerable? If not, maybe consider that. Ninth house, travel and expansion. If you've got Taurus in the ninth house, I'd say, yeah, plan a trip. Ninth house is like not your no, if I could talk, your ninth house is not your local neighborhood. If you have Taurus in the ninth, it's like go on a beautiful trip someplace far away. I think of like Bali, right? Or maybe you're somebody who's like, I love the Southern Caribbean. I want to go there. Someplace that feels like that Venusian, beautiful energy. Florence, Italy is one of the most beautiful places. So think about where you want to go that's outside of your own backyard that you feel is a beautiful location. If you have Taurus in the ninth house, you could be feeling like you want to do something new around spirituality or philosophy, something like bigger questions about life. Yeah, ninth house and having Taurus there, it's all about broadening your horizons. 10th house, as we talked about with the MC, and I'll say the midheaven or the MC in your chart, that line at the top doesn't always hit in the 10th house. Depends on how the chart is sliced up. But if you have Taurus in your 10th house, that is the house of career and public life. So if you've got Taurus here, I'd say, ooh, set some really juicy goals around your career and what you would see for yourself a few years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years in the future around your career and what success looks like and feels like to you. What do you want to be known for 5 years from now? Big questions for this energy. If you have the 11th house, it's actually the house of community, of people coming together in a group. It can also be the house of dreams. So if you have Taurus in the 11th house, I would connect with people that share some of your same vision for the future. So first you have to understand what your vision is for the future, but then where can you connect with like-minded people? You might find yourself, if you have Taurus in the 11th, like sitting down this weekend and doing research on different networking groups or community groups or nonprofits to donate time to that align with what you want for your future and how you want to have your friendships in your own life. Like what does friendship mean to you? Do you feel like you have those friendships in your life right now? If not, what could you shift? And then 12th house, just like in my chart, rest and inner healing. That is the recovering workaholic. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sounds good. But I actually am going to do this. So I am going to take some time and space this weekend to just sit with myself and my energy and ask myself these questions about what I do want to birth into the world. And if I have any of these old wounds that come up, how do I want to heal those? Of course, in the 12th house, I'd say it's okay for you to be by yourself. It's okay for you to give permission to go on a weekend trip to a cabin where it's just you, where you can sit and read a book or go on a walk in the forest. So 12th house is a lot of that like subconscious mind, that deep inner healing. So Taurus in the 12th, I'd say find that beauty within yourself. It's there. And you don't have to be around other people in order to find, have, or keep beauty in your life. So let me know in the comments how that resonated with you, 1 through 12. I am going to look at my tarot cards here in just a minute. Oh, I love, there's so many great comments. Oh, The Holiday with Cameron Diaz. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. Yeah, so I have somebody asking in the comments, what if you, it sounds like you've got a Placidus chart pulled up. What if Taurus is in 2 houses? That's why I stick to whole sign with this. So I would go run a whole sign chart and see what house Taurus is in. But if you have a Placidus chart and you see Taurus in 2 different houses, that whole like area of your life is highlighted. So I would read for both of those houses. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a couple of tarot cards and see what it is that we need to remember. And then I am going to take a couple of general questions about the US, about the world. And so start thinking about those. And if you want, you can put them in the comments. I'm just going to pick a couple. But I'm going to ask my tarot cards first. What is it about this Taurus new moon energy that we need to remember? It's my cat Frankie looks over at me wondering what the heck I'm doing. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So the cards that came out, just in general, what we need to remember about this new moon. Couple things. Oh, you can't see it. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is an energy that is like our cup is overflowing. We have abundance. We have everything we need and more. So it's that energy. Remember in the beginning of this class, I said Taurus is go with the flow. Taurus is the tortoise. Flow. We also have the sun. The sun card is a beautiful card of vitality, of life force, of not being afraid to be who we are and to value who we are. We do have some cards here about letting go of the past, walking away and healing. It's represented in the 7 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords. Letting go of past hurt, letting go of past wounds. It's okay for us to extend grace and forgiveness to ourselves and others if it feels aligned with you right now. We also have a very Taurus card here, the 4 of Pentacles. In this card, he has got a pentacle, which represents money and what we value. He's got two, one under each of his feet. He's got one up at his head, and he's got one that he's holding on to. Very Taurus card of what am I holding on to when it comes to maybe old stories about money, stories of scarcity, lack, I don't have enough, healing those stories. And also what I was saying earlier about long-term financial success. How am I going to set out those goals, stick with those goals, and understand that it's a process? So an example could be creating like a color-coded spreadsheet of expenses and redoing that, right? Like maybe you've done it before, but you're like, I feel like I just want to reach financial goals that I haven't been able to reach yet. Maybe it's getting out of debt. Maybe it's paying off a credit card. Maybe it's saving more money, starting an IRA, whatever it is, right? But I think this weekend you could really go, what is that money goal that I have? And what is that spreadsheet and expense list that I have to keep up with? And why is it important to me? I learned that from Tony Robbins years ago. I did his fire walk in California where you walk over the hot stones. And one of the things he really hammered in was if you don't understand why you're doing something, if you don't understand like the emotional connection you have to that goal, you probably won't reach it. So if you're going to sit down and think about your money or talk to your significant other about money goals and opening that CD or whatever it is you do, I would get to why you're doing it. If it's like, oh, well, I just want to see a certain dollar amount in my bank account, you probably won't get there. Could you prove me wrong? Absolutely. But I think if the story is, I want to save, let's just throw out a number. I want to save $5,000 by the end of 2025. I'm going to create my spreadsheet. I'm going to color code it of money coming in, money coming out. I'm going to get really, really clear on my finances, and I'm going to get clear on how much I have to save every month in order to hit that goal. Because with that $5,000, I am going to sign up for the yoga certification in Bali. And I need $5,000 in order to go, because by going to that yoga certification in Bali, I'm going to be able to work with clients all over the world, virtually, in person. I am going to bring in a whole new stream of revenue that is going to make me even more than $5,000. So you see the difference. One that's just like, I just want to see it. Having $5,000 would just be good because everyone tells me I need to have $5,000 in the bank. If I had example A and example B, and somebody said, well, which person do you think is actually going to make it to the goal? I'd say person B all day long. Because person B knows why they want the $5,000 and how it's going to impact their life. So get really clear on your whys this weekend. Okay. Oh, so yeah. So start putting it in the Zoom, YouTube. Where am I? I don't know. Put in the YouTube. Any questions about the US or the world? If you're in my Sacred Signals community, you hear me talk about my predictions every week, but I do want to just take a few questions. Or if you have questions about the astrology, pop it in the YouTube chat. So while I'm waiting for some of those questions to come up, I just want to mention, I did announce my remote viewing level 1 certification the other day, and it is starting to get busier and filled. So if you want to take my level 1 remote viewing, this is your fair warning, because the live 3-hour class is on May 24th, but even if you can't attend live on May 24th, I would still sign up. Why? because this is the introductory pricing. So after I teach this class on May 24th, the price will go up. This is the lowest you're going to get it. Usually I charge $150 for a certification, which still is really, really reasonable. It's $97 if you sign up for class and take it with me, either through the live or the replay, May 24th. If you wait, you will have the higher price. If you're Sacred Signals, it's only $77. Yeah, so when it's sold out, the price is going to go up. So just want to call your attention to that. If you're like, Delisa, I have no idea what remote viewing is. Remote viewing is actually a really great skill to have if you're interested in developing your intuition. Some people that have taken my psychic development actually have signed up for remote viewing, but it's not a prerequisite. Remote viewing is helping you get your energy into a frequency that allows you to see places, people, objects that are not physically in your presence. So there have been governments that have used remote viewers in order to spy on other countries during a war, for example. So we'll be taking our energy and looking at secret targets and helping you work that muscle, that skill. So we'll be taking you through how to do it and then secret targets that you're going to be tuning into and getting information on. So you get the live, the replay, the certificate of completion in case you want it for your records, or maybe you meet with clients or you want to start a spiritual business and you can say that you went through this class. You will have a certificate of completion afterwards. And then you get the full guidebook. I just want to mention this because of the discounted pricing. Yeah, so I hope to see you in class. We're going to have a lot of fun. So Sacred Signals, I've already mentioned. The reason I want to bring this up now is because if you want to do remote viewing, I would sign up for Sacred Signals first because you get $20 off remote viewing. You don't have to sign up for Sacred Signals, but just know that the remote viewing price does come down to $77 if you are a Sacred Signals member. I did mention that I do the psychic predictions each week. It's all the stuff I don't say on mainstream social media. And I do a weekly astrology forecast mini class. And we have a Discord community. It's all, and you get 3 bonus classes when you sign up. Channeling 101, Mediumship 101, and how to find your soul's purpose, North Node astrology class. And literally, Sacred Signals is only $15 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. So it's absolutely worth it. The people who are in the community, I love them so much. So just want to throw that out there. Okay. Yes, I'm glad I made these slides so I remember what the heck to say. All right. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. You've got the links there or the, where to find me on there. If you enjoyed this class, please hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button on my channel if you haven't already, because I do the Tuesday live streams, the astrology live streams every week. And if you love the class, send it to people that you know, because I'd love more people to find out about their astrology charts and how to find a new moon in their chart and what it means. So I would love it if you would share this class. And based on the number of likes on the video, I'll know if I should be doing more classes like this. Oh, I love this quote. We are born at a given moment in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. Carl Jung. I thought this was such a perfect quote to use for the end of an astrology class. Oh gosh, I love that so much. We have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. I couldn't agree with that more. Amen to that. Okay, so now I'm going to answer a couple questions. All Okay. Let me stop my screen share. That way I'm all the way back on the screen. Okay, let me look. Let's see what questions. Yeah, Tony Robbins has such great books and classes. Yeah, he's amazing. Oh, thanks, Jackie. Delisa's psychic connections are strong. You started talking about Tony Robbins right after you posted about him. I didn't read it now. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, when I was talking about it, whatever screen I was on, his name popped in, and that he likes you to anchor your why into your goal so that you have a better chance of achieving it. Oh yeah, so Sacred Signals, $15 a month. You can cancel anytime. It's on my website. If you go to spiritandspark.com, click on in the menu, it says Sacred Signals, and you get access to the 3 classes right away. And I taught a class this morning on class was called Why Am I So Pissed? Because I love listen, it's like a 30-minute class, but I love teaching, which is why really I love having my community of sacred signals. I taught a class on 3 core energies, and when you're mad, what the 3 core energies are that are being triggered and how to actually like release those and heal those. And so that's on the replay page right now. So you could even go watch that. You could watch the last prediction show I did was Thursday. So that's still very relevant. Oh, Thursdays. I asked ChatGPT for predictions, and I asked for the economy, and I asked for the Pope. So that's all in Thursday's video. And there's like a chart and a sketch of the Pope. It's really, really interesting. So that's on Thursdays. And then Wednesday, I did the astrology for the week. So that's all on there. Anyway, okay. I just get really excited and I love good content. And so Robin's asking, well, Mars versus Pluto, that's that opposition I showed you in the very beginning of class with that big thick line between Pluto and Mars. Do I think it's going to bring US issues in the next few days? So I'm hearing in my ear, which I'm clairaudient, and so I'll hear different words and phrases as I start tuning into questions. Um, they're using the word kaleidoscope. That is not a word I typically use. So I'm getting this feeling of, when you're in the carnival and you go inside that fun house and there's all these like mirrors and it looks very distorted and you're walking through, and sometimes you're big and sometimes you're small and sometimes you can't figure out where the heck you are. That's what it feels like right now. Um, I think we're in for more of that. I also, what can I say on here publicly? And if anybody sends sacred signals, if you want to drop in the comments some of the things I've been talking about lately, I think we'd be fine there. But I know that the robots are listening to like everything I say on here. So I think I'll say it's a kaleidoscope with Neptune 0 degrees Aries, Uranus getting closer to going into Gemini in July. I think there's just going to be a lot of divisiveness and fighting still for a while. I've also been talking about lately watching Uranus. So that's why I like doing the weekly astrology stuff, because I keep an eye on what degree everything's at. I'm really watching Uranus at like 27, but more 28, 29 degrees Taurus, because I think a lot of our money and money systems is going to just go through a lot of upheaval. So I'm watching that one very, very closely. Yeah. Jackie's asking if there's like, are we waiting for any kind of breaking news to erupt? I feel like every day I'm just waiting. Like I walked out of my bedroom the other day, just woke up. And as I'm walking closer, because I didn't have my phone with me, I was walking closer to my phone. I'm like, oh, there's going to be breaking, like big breaking news on my phone. And that was the morning that the US found out that the Pope had passed. I was sitting on my couch earlier this morning and I felt and now I'm in the Pacific Northwest. So this should not come as a shock, but it was like, whoa, was that an earthquake? And I always look to like the light fixtures to see if they're moving. And it wasn't, it didn't move, but I do get a lot of premonitions around earthquakes. So it would not surprise me if we had a big earthquake that hit soon. And I know Stefan Burns, the geophysicist on YouTube, he's been saying that he thinks that the ingredients are right for a big earthquake. I think the other day there was like 3 earthquakes over 6.0. So, I mean, yeah, any day, any minute. I feel like what's a little bit alarming for me is, do we get desensitized and numb so much from having breaking news all the time that we just kind of just we don't think anything is that important anymore? I don't know. It's a weird. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Oh, Mark, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. That's really nice of you. Oh, Edward, hit that thumbs up. Yes. Oh God, Karen, I haven't looked at the Canadian election. I haven't tuned into that one yet. Um, what I see in my mind's eye, the energy, usually if something like happens according to plan and it's what everybody kind of expects, the energy like meets in the middle like this. But just as I read that question, the energy was like, so that would mean that there's some kind of not going as planned or something happens with the election. Oh, thanks, Karen. Appreciate it. When will traveling around the world change? Lots of people say we will travel by train and super fast everywhere. What do you see about that? I think it'll be Uranus going into Gemini. So Gemini is our local neighborhood. It's communications, it's local travel. So with Uranus going into Gemini, and if you have anything in Gemini, planets in your chart or sensitive angles, Uranus is coming July 7th. So I think that the way we travel and communicate, Uranus is in a sign for 7 years. So I think it'll take a little bit longer for Uranus to go all the way in and back out of Gemini because there is a retrograde. Um, but I would say within the next 7.5, 8 years, the way we travel and communicate will change drastically. So Abby's asking about the Trump administration. I do talk about politics in my weekly Zooms for Sacred Signals, because publicly it can get so tense with people disagreeing. So I do try to keep like as neutral as possible when I talk about politics, really truly try to stay as neutral as possible. How do I say? I saw the other day I think somebody had predicted an earthquake and they got arrested. It wasn't in the US. I can't remember now where it was at, but it just happened in the last couple of days, which is why I'm so careful about what I say publicly. Let me think if I can say anything. Let me come back to that because I have seen things and my Sacred Signal members know. Um, the key words for the members, in case you're wondering where I'm going with this, it's the stuff I saw about the hospital, the people with the signs, all that stuff. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Mm, how safe is it to travel in the US right now with Donald Trump in power? So I'm going to just take the first half of the question. How safe is it to travel? I think there's going to be a lot of issues and upheaval and redesign and reconfiguration when it comes to air travel. I did just book a trip that's far away, long flight. Um, but I had to sit with it for a while because I do think, and still, even for my trip, I think that there's still potential for the trip to not happen just because I think that there is a lot of war energy that's still present and happening. Um, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it. It's not something I'm going to stress out about. I always ask my angels to surround every airplane I get on before takeoff, and you can do the same thing if it makes you feel better. But I invite them in, I have them surround me on all sides and then up and below the aircraft. And I ask them to protect me throughout the whole flight. Um, and yeah, they show me and I can see them. And to just know, even if you can't see them, setting that intention and asking them for help, angels will not interfere with your free will. So you can come, they'll help you if you ask them. How is living with my mom and cats going? It hasn't started yet. Yeah, those of you that haven't been following me a lot lately, there will be a period of time where it'll be me, my mom, and our combined four cats. But you know what? You just have to laugh and go with it. Like, yeah. 222, great angel number. Let's see here. I think I'm almost to the end. Oh, I did see. So I caught the headline there. There was a terrorist attack in India. I saw just this morning something out of the corner of my eye about an explosion and people killed by terrorists. Horrible, horrible. That would be going back to the question about Mars opposite Pluto. That feels like that would be a headline that would match that energy. Oh, wow. So Marshall's saying there was a 6.2 earthquake last night in California. Wow. Ah, Myanmar. Yeah. So Paulina's saying that the arrest for the predictions was there. I mean, seriously. Yeah, 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 exactly. Marshall, join us where we can talk about anything we want on Zoom. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so stay safe out there. Um, trust your intuition. I'm going to pull one oracle card to give us a final message. Um, your intuition really is your superpower because obviously, like you can't have a psychic in your back pocket every day, all day long, at least not yet. Um, and so it's going to take you trusting your own intuition. And the way that your intuition gets stronger is yes, practicing it or going to a spiritual class or a psychic class, remote viewing class, if you're into that kind of thing. Um, shameless plug. But really, journaling, meditating, grounding, being out in nature, going to a yin yoga class, a sound bath, like all those things help to raise your frequency and helps you to lean into your own intuition so that when something feels off, you know about it first. You know, you're like, gosh, I really want to go on that trip to Denmark, but I don't know what's it going to be like in September, October. I bet if you started incorporating more meditation into your routine, if you ask the universe for more signs, you are going to know whether or not you're supposed to go to Denmark. When it feels like you are swimming against a current and the water keeps slapping you in the face, it's probably not the right path. Typically, when it feels too turbulent, spirit's like, not this way. But if you feel like you can lay down and float down the river and you're just floating and blessings are coming to you, then you'll find that you are in the right place at the right time. Yeah. Okay, let's pull a oh, yay. Oh, it looks like we've got a few more people that are going to join our sacred signals. And oh, so let me say this because all my members have heard this already. Please join us on Discord. If you're like, what is Discord? Discord is an app and there's different like threads you can join. One that's the pet zone where you can post pictures of your pets. We pick a pet of the week. People that are posting about different predictions and articles that they find about predictions that are coming true. What else do we talk about? Crystals, tarot cards, oracle cards. So if you're in the Discord app, on the homepage of the app, there is going to be a little icon in the upper right-hand corner. Looks like a calendar icon. If you click that button, it tells you all of the upcoming Sacred Signal Zooms and classes, and it gives you the Zoom links and everything. And I do post announcements in Discord. So if you are in Sacred Signals, please join Discord because I don't want you to miss anything. Okay. And then you can go in there and watch on the member landing page. Why am I so pissed class from this morning? Oh, God. What a time to be alive. Okay. No, but thank you for everybody with the compliments and your kindness and everything. I really, really appreciate it. I just love teaching. That's why I wanted to come on and teach about the new moon today. So I wanted to pack a lot of value in there. So let's see. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I see you flying out of the deck. I was going to say, these are cards of destiny. They're based off of a standard deck of playing cards. So we're just going to see. I was going to say, we're going to see which card we get. And then it like flies out of the deck. Okay. The Eight of Diamonds. The Eight of Diamonds. Okay. The power of perception is blessing you. Like standing on top of a tall mountain. If you stop and look around, you can see everything clearly. How Taurus, stop and look around and see everything clearly. The key is to stop and look. Justification and rationale are not your friends at the moment. They are storytellers who can take you far away from yourself. So that statement right there, it's like, stick with the facts. Stick with the facts. Don't make up that old story about money, the old story about love, the old story about work. Your intuition and imagination are your best friends. Be honest with yourself and what you know you are seeing. Take the actions that set you apart and support your authenticity. Recognition can come from your commitment to self and your choice to speak and live in your truth. Dare to do things your way. All of the goodness you give is coming back to you now. Open your arms to receive those blessings and enjoy your magnificent self. What a perfect card for a new moon in Taurus. What a perfect, perfect card. As it says, stop, look around, be honest, and celebrate who you are. Our Eight of Diamonds. Now we'll all be on the lookout for eights as an angel number coming in as a reminder of our own value and that we don't have to walk the path of anyone else. We are unique, just like our astrology chart. Nobody has your same chart. Your soul decided to come in and incarnate now onto Earth. And so I think this new moon in Taurus this weekend is giving us pause and remembering all of the silver linings we have in our life and what we are really creating for our long-term success and future. So thank you so much for joining me for today's new moon in Taurus class. I send you so much love and blessings. And I can't wait to hear your stories about what you're creating for your own long term vision for yourself. And hope to see you in the remote viewing class and sacred signals. Everything is over at spiritandspark.com. And I think the next time you might see me will be on Tuesday here on my YouTube channel. I'll be talking about the astrology and what's unfolding and helping you get through it. So, with that, I will go ahead and conclude for now. And I look forward to seeing you next time.